Most men treat mystery like it's some kind of performance where they have to act like a cold, emotionless statue or a distant jerk who couldn't care less. They think that by ignoring a woman or pretending they aren't interested, they are somehow winning the game. But here's the reality: that approach is a total lie, and it backfires almost every time. When you purposefully act like you don't want her, she doesn't think you're a man of mystery. She thinks you're a man who lacks the courage to go after what he wants. It reeks of insecurity and playing it safe. The real secret to high level attraction isn't about being cold, it's about being interested, but not needy. You want to show her that you find her attractive and you enjoy her company. But you also need to demonstrate that your happiness doesn't depend on her approval. This creates a magnetic tension that draws her in because she finally feels she's met a man who is both honest and grounded. When you master the art of the slow reveal, you stop the habit of oversharing and start building a foundation of true intrigue. Most guys feel the urge to sell themselves by listing all their accomplishments, their hobbies, and their life story within the first 30 minutes of a date. When you do that, you've essentially handed her the last page of the book before she's even finished the first chapter. There's nothing left for her to discover. By holding back and letting your personality come out in segments, you invite her to actually participate in the process of getting to know you. You are giving her the greatest gift in dating: the space to wonder about you. When she's away from you, you want her mind to be busy trying to piece together the puzzle of who you are. This is where the magic happens. This mental space is what creates the positive illusion. Human psychology is designed to fill in the blanks. And when a woman likes your vibe but doesn't know every single detail about your life, her imagination goes to work. She starts to build an image of you in her head that is likely far more impressive than any resume you could recite. Her mind will naturally highlight your best qualities and gloss over the small stuff, making you look like a hero in her own personal narrative. You can't force this image onto her with your words. You have to step back and let her own brain do the heavy lifting. Your silence and your restraint are what allow her to fall for the version of you that she is hoping to create. Don't be afraid of a little tension or even a little bit of good frustration. In the early stages of dating, frustration is actually the twin brother of attraction. If she's a little frustrated because she isn't sure if you're going to text her tonight, or she's wondering if you're going to ask her out again, that's a sign that she is emotionally invested. She is thinking about you, analyzing your behavior, and talking about you with her friends. That investment is exactly what turns a casual acquaintance into a deep romantic connection. When you are a bit of a mystery, you aren't being dishonest. You are being a challenge. You are showing her that you have a life, a mission, and a world of your own that she has to earn her way into. That is the most attractive position a man can hold. The art of the slow reveal. The biggest mistake most men make on a date is treating it like a job interview, where they have to dump their entire resume, life story, and trauma history onto the table just to prove they are enough. You have to understand that a woman keeps dating you primarily because she wants to uncover who you are. Curiosity is the fuel of attraction. If you tell her everything about yourself on night one, from your childhood pet to your 5 year career plan, you've effectively finished the book. There's no mystery left, no cliffhanger to keep her interested, and no reason for her to buy the next chapter. You want to reveal yourself in layers, like an onion, making her work just a little bit to get to the core of who you are. This isn't about being dishonest. It's about pacing the information so that every time she sees you, she discovers something new and impressive. A powerful way to master this is by being silly first. When she asks a standard, boring question like, "What do you do for a living?" don't just give her a dry job title. Give her a playful, ridiculous answer first, like, "I'm an international spy," or "I'm a professional ninja." This does two things. It shows you have a sense of humor, and it signals that you aren't desperate to impress her with your status. When she laughs and inevitably asks for the real answer, that is when you give it to her. This creates a push-pull dynamic where you are being fun and elusive before being grounded and honest. It makes even the most mundane details of your life feel like a rewarded discovery for her, rather than a forced lecture from you. As the conversation progresses, state general before getting specific. If you're a high level software engineer at a major firm, don't lead with that. Start broad by saying, I work in the technology field. If she's interested, she will dig for specifics. Let her ask the follow up questions. This forces her to be the investigator, which keeps her mentally engaged in the conversation. It also prevents you from looking like you're trying too hard to flex your credentials. By keeping your answers short and general initially, you come across as a man who is comfortable in his own skin and doesn't feel the need to justify his value to a stranger. The ultimate rule of the slow reveal is to never brag. Nothing kills mystery faster than a man who goes out of his way to mention his expensive car, his big house, or his high salary. Bragging is the loudest scream of insecurity. It tells her that you don't think your personality is enough to keep her interested. Instead, let her discover your success on her own terms. Imagine the impact when she finds out on the third or fourth date that you are incredibly successful or talented, and she realizes you've known it the whole time but never felt the need to boast. That level of quiet confidence is 10 times more attractive than any verbal brag could ever be. It shows her that your value is real and that you are a man of substance who doesn't need external validation. Stories and the power of the third person. Directly stating your positive qualities is the least effective way to get someone to believe them. If you tell a woman, I'm a really courageous guy, she's going to doubt you immediately because truly brave men don't need to say it. Instead, you need to use stories to let her reach that conclusion on her own. If you want her to know you're brave, tell her a story about the time you were absolutely terrified to go skydiving. Describe the sweat on your palms and the racing of your heart, but then explain how you jumped anyway. By focusing on your vulnerability and the action you took, you aren't selling her on your courage. You are showing her a vivid picture of it. When she reaches the conclusion herself that you are brave, it becomes a permanent part of how she views you, rather than just a claim she has to take your word for. This indirect approach is just as vital when it comes to setting your standards and boundaries. Most guys become confrontational or heavy when they want to communicate what they like in a relationship, which kills the vibe instantly. Instead of being direct and saying, I want you to show more interest in me, which sounds needy and demanding, use the third person technique. Speak about your preferences in a general sense by saying something like, I've always found it so refreshing when a girl is clearly into a guy and isn't afraid to show it. There's something so authentic and confident about that. By framing it this way, you are laying out a map of what you value without pointing a finger at her. She gets the hint loud and clear, but because you didn't make a direct demand, there's no pressure or awkwardness. She will likely step up her game to match that authentic image you just described because she wants to be that high value woman in your eyes. This keeps the mystery intact because you aren't chasing her for attention. You are simply describing the world you live in and the kind of behavior you appreciate. It allows her to choose to meet your standards, which makes her feel like the attraction is her own idea. Master the awesome silence. Most men are terrified of silence. They view a lull in the conversation as a failing grade, so they scramble to fill every empty second with nervous chatter, bad jokes, or useless facts just to keep the noise going. You need to flip that script immediately. Silence is only awkward if you are uncomfortable. If you are perfectly at ease, that silence becomes awesome. When you stop talking and simply hold a woman's gaze with a relaxed smile, you are demonstrating a massive amount of internal value and self control. You're signaling that you don't need to perform for her and that you are comfortable in your own skin. This stillness creates a powerful magnetic tension, often a romantic or sexual tension, that words usually kill. By being the one who is unfazed by the quiet, you force her to lean into your world. To master this, you should start practicing the 5-second challenge. It's a simple but transformative tool. Every time she finishes a sentence, instead of jumping in immediately to show how smart or relatable you are, Simply count to 5 in your head. During those 5 seconds, maintain relaxed eye contact and just be present. What you'll discover is almost magical. More often than not, she will feel the urge to fill that space herself. Because you gave her the room to breathe, she will often reveal something deeper, more personal, or more meaningful than she originally intended. It turns a surface level chat into a real connection. You aren't just waiting for your turn to speak, you are creating a vacuum that pulls her deeper into the conversation, all while making you seem incredibly observant and mysterious. Master your body language and physical presence. Your body often speaks much louder than your mouth, and most guys are accidentally shouting, "I'm insecure" through their posture. One of the biggest mistakes is squaring up, pointing your head, shoulders, hips, and feet directly at a woman like you're a boxer in a ring or an employee reporting to a boss. This is far too intense and actually comes off as needy because it shows you are 100% focused on her, waiting for her next move. Instead, you want to adopt an angled, relaxed stance. If you're standing, turn your body slightly away at a 45-degree angle. This open body language suggests that you are confident enough to look at the rest of the room and that you aren't clinging to her for social survival. It makes you appear more relaxed, more masculine, and infinitely more mysterious. The way you position yourself in a room or at a table is just as critical. If you're at a restaurant or a bar, try to avoid sitting directly across from her, which can feel like a high pressure interrogation. Instead, sit at a 90-degree angle or side by side. This allows you to walk through the world together, literally and figuratively, rather than being in a face to face standoff. It also gives you the freedom to turn your head and give her your full attention when she says something brilliant, and then turn away when you're just relaxing. This makes your attention feel like a reward. You want to give her your full physical presence only when she earns it by being engaging, funny, or respectful. If she's being bratty or boring, you simply angle your body away and focus on the environment. You are the prize, and your attention is the currency. Finally, you must stay grounded and avoid the peck. Watch guys who are nervous. They constantly lean in to hear better, then lean back, then fidget with their glass, then lean in again. This pecking motion makes you look like a bird looking for crumbs. It's the definition of low value body language. Once you find a comfortable, relaxed position, stay there. If the environment is loud, don't lean your whole torso in. Just tilt your head. Or better yet, speak slightly louder and let her lean into you. By staying physically still and grounded, you project an aura of strength and stability. You aren't being moved by her or by the room. You are the anchor in the situation. This level of physical composure is incredibly rare and highly attractive because it shows you are a man who cannot be easily rattled. The smirk, the ultimate push pull signal. Most men think that a smile is just a smile. But in the world of high level attraction, the way you use your face communicates more than your words ever will. When you give a wide, open mouthed grin, you're signaling total friendliness and a desire for rapport. While there is a time and place for that, doing it constantly makes you appear overly eager to please and easily figured out. To be truly mysterious and magnetic, you have to master the smirk, which is the physical manifestation of a psychological technique called push pull. A real, authentic smile is always found in the eyes, the crinkling at the corners that shows genuine warmth. But the mystery lies in what you do with your mouth. By keeping your lips closed or slightly upturned in a smirk while your eyes are smiling, you are sending two conflicting signals at once. Your eyes are saying, "I like you," but your mouth is saying, "I'm a challenge and I'm not totally won over yet." This mixed signal is a massive attraction trigger because it creates a puzzle for her to solve. It keeps her off balance in the best way possible. She sees the warmth in your eyes, which makes her feel safe and connected. But the smirk suggests you have a secret or that you are playfully teasing her. This prevents you from falling into the nice guy category, where everything is predictable and safe. Think of icons like George Clooney or Brad Pitt. They rarely give away a full, toothy grin immediately. They use that knowing, closed mouth smirk to maintain an aura of self control and confidence. You should practice this in the mirror until it feels like a natural part of your personality. When you can project that, I know something you don't vibe, you become infinitely more engaging to talk to. It shows that you have a strong internal world and that your approval isn't something you just hand out for free to everyone you meet. Control the digital space and master the silence. One of the fastest ways to kill a woman's attraction is to be too available through your phone. In the modern world, most guys make the mistake of trying to build an entire relationship over text, sending 3,000 messages a day and responding within seconds. If you want to be mysterious, you have to remember that technology is for logistics, not for deep emotional bonding. You should use your phone primarily to set up the next in person meetup and then get off of it. When you are constantly texting, you are removing any opportunity for her to miss you. Attraction and love don't grow when you are standing in front of her or pinging her phone every 5 minutes. They grow in the space between your interactions. By keeping your communication to a minimum, you allow her imagination to take over. When she doesn't hear from you for a day or two, she starts to wonder, what is he doing? Who is he with? Is he thinking about me? That mental work she is doing is exactly what builds long term attraction. To execute this properly, you need to be conscious of the energy of your digital thread. A good rule of thumb is to keep your replies shorter and less frequent than hers. If she sends you a 4 line paragraph detailing her day, don't match that energy with another 4 line paragraph. Instead, send a 2 line reply that is fun and direct. This subtly signals that you are a man with a busy, productive life and that you aren't sitting around waiting for her next notification. Additionally, don't be afraid to let her have the last word in a conversation. If she sends a good night or a haha, that's funny, you don't always need to reply with an emoji or a yeah. Just let the conversation end. It isn't being rude, it's being a man who is comfortable with silence. This creates a slight frustration in her mind that keeps her engaged and ensures that when you finally do see her in person, you actually have things to talk about. You want to be a high value man who is experienced in person, not a pen pal who is always available at the touch of a button. Show, don't tell. The power of decisive action. One of the most common ways men accidentally kill the mystery and the attraction is by trying to talk a woman into liking them. They feel a bit of pressure or uncertainty, so they sit her down for a heavy, awkward feelings talk or a confession of love way too early in the game. You have to understand that in the early stages of dating, a verbal confession of your feelings is often a massive attraction killer. It places an immediate burden on her to either reciprocate those feelings or reject you on the spot, which creates a level of pressure that most people find uncomfortable. Instead of using your words to tell her how much you like her, you need to use your actions. Your interest should be communicated through your leadership, your decisiveness, and your presence. When you lead effectively, you don't have to say a word about your feelings because she can already feel them through the way you move. Showing your interest means being a man of action from the very first moment. If you want her number, don't wait for a perfect sign. Just ask for it. If you want to see her, don't send a vague text asking, "What's up?" or "When are you free?" Instead, take the lead and suggest a specific time and place. Say, "I want to take you to that new Italian spot on Thursday at 7 o'clock." This shows her that you are interested, confident, and capable of making a decision, all without you ever having to say, "I really like you." By leading the date and handling the logistics, you are demonstrating your value and your interest in a way that feels natural and exciting, rather than heavy and demanding. You are creating an experience for her, and that experience tells her everything she needs to know about your intentions. Physicality is another crucial area where showing beats telling every single time. If the vibe is right and the connection is there, don't ask for permission or wait for her to give you a 3 point presentation on why you should kiss her. By the end of the second date, if you feel that spark, you should go for the kiss. This is the ultimate show, don't tell move. It communicates your romantic interest and your confidence in a single decisive moment. When you take that risk, you are letting her come to the conclusion that you are attracted to her because of the chemistry you've built, not because you gave her a speech about it. It keeps the mystery alive because it feels like a natural progression of the evening rather than a pre planned script. Ultimately, you want her to be the one who realizes, wow, he must really like me, based on the effort you put into your dates and the way you treat her when you're together.